Hi guys, Josh with FortisHD. Today we're answering questions from the internet about mini excavators, rubber versus steel, what works best, where to use it. Let's answer some questions. What do rubber excavator track numbers mean? You're going to have the width, that'll be your large number. You're going to have the pitch, that will be the distance between the links. And then you're going to have the link number, how many links there actually are on the tracks. Usually this can be found stamped into the rubber track somewhere, usually up underneath on the inside. Pretty straightforward stuff. It does vary from manufacturers. Some guys will put the link and the pitch in different spots, but that's about it. Pretty straightforward. Can you put steel tracks on your mini excavator? Yes, you can. Yeah, you can. Some instances you're going to have to change some stuff around. Bobcat's notorious for having a different idler for the rubber and steel tracks. Make sure you check what your manufacturer has before you go buy steel tracks and expect them to just mount right up to your rubbers. How much slack is an excavator track? This is going to vary depending on size of machine. Check your book, right? If you have your operator's manual, it'll say in there. Take one side off the ground. You're measuring from the bottom of the track to the top of the roller, right? Don't overextend, then you stretch them. Don't underextend, then it falls off. There's a video on how to check this out on TekamoHD's YouTube channel. It's one of those spots. What's the difference between steel track and rubber track? The weight, right? You're gonna add significant amount of weights to your machine with steel tracks as opposed to rubber tracks. Obviously, steel tracks are not a lot of fun on concrete, street, that kind of stuff. That's where you wanna use your rubbers. Rubbers aren't a lot of fun in deep mud, right? You wanna use tracks, steel. If you're curious about which tracks you should be using, willing to answer any questions, Josh D at FortisHD.com. Why do excavator tracks come off? A few things to look at if your excavator tracks are constantly coming off. First would be the tension on the actual track itself. If the idler is damaged, right? If your idler's turned a little bit, sprocket's worn down, right? If your sprockets are really worn down to nubs, they're not gonna have anything to drive on. Thus, they'll kind of push it off to the side. Look at your undercarriage, clean it, right? You guys have track shovels on your machine. Clean your undercarriages. I'm going to preface this one and say this is a legitimate question we got asked. How many times can an excavator spin left? Sorry. Never been asked that before. 7. 7 times. If you go more than 7 times, you're going to spin the Rotec right off. Car body falls off. Indefinitely is the actual answer. There you go. Indefinitely. It can keep going. That's an actual question we got. It can keep going and going and going and going as long as your rotor manifold isn't fucked. What does pitch mean on rubber tracks? When you're talking about pitch, you are talking about the measurement between each tine. So you go center to center, that is your pitch. The reason that's important is that's where your sprocket rides. So that rides in the sprocket. If you have a pitch that's further out, it's not going to hit the sprocket at the same time, causing you problems. It won't even go on probably. Well, you can get it on, but you're going to make it a lot worse. But yes, that is what the pitch is. The pitch, link, center, get that measurement there. There's your pitch. It's going to be metric. Americans, it's going to be metric. We got another question. Guy found a cheap set of rubber tracks. The only issue was it has 2 more links on it than his current ones do. Will it work? I don't think so. It might work in some applications. It's a very rare thing that it does. Put on what you take off, right? That's pretty much the way that goes. If you have any further questions on excavator stuff, ask them, reach out, Josh D at FortisHD.com. Next video is going to be skid steer questions because we got a list of those too.